Hello there, my name is Anna Lundberg. I'm the founder of One Step Outside, author of Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5 and host of the Reimagining Success podcast. Now, in the past few weeks, we've been looking at how to set up your business so that it works for you, so it gives you the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that you so desire, like many of us. And as part of this series, last week we were looking at why and how to start leveraging your time to create that freedom and flexibility. So we looked at, for example, your business model and your pricing. And this week I want to double click on this topic because we're going to be looking at getting the financials right for your business to create that freedom and flexibility. Now, first, to briefly share my own experience on this topic. So I left my corporate job back in 2013. Initially, I really hit the ground running, so I was very lucky thanks to my network, thanks to my CV, I guess, and my digital marketing skills, which were very much in demand at the time, and I guess still are. I hit the ground running with a couple of very big consulting projects for well-known brands. So the first few years, I was actually earning as much, if not more, as I had been in my corporate job, which can be quite rare because it can take time, of course, to build up your business and will take time. So I had these really interesting projects, worked with fantastic brands, and between contracts I had the flexibility and freedom to actually travel. So I'd head off for a month or two between my contracts and do some fun things around the world. However, I found that I was very much tied to the client's office and I didn't have the autonomy, the flexibility that I really wanted. I was still very much in that sort of so-called 9 to 5, but of course working overtime. I wasn't my own boss and so on. So after 2 years of doing that, I quit, insofar as you can quit working for yourself, those big consulting projects. And I actually took my business on the road. So I became one of those very fashionable digital nomads. I wanted to be location independent, take my business, my writing and so on with me as I travelled. And during those couple of years, I had the most incredible adventures and experiences and personal growth. However, I wasn't earning a lot of money because I wasn't really focusing on the business and the financials, and I was really just sort of trusting that the money would come. So I was really working down through my savings. It's in the last few years that I've really been focusing on getting the balance right between these things, earning enough money on the one hand and having the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment on the other. And that, of course, is why I'm so passionate about helping you all do the same, and this is what I do with my clients. Now, why then is money important? Maybe you don't need my convincing here, but it depends if you've had the similar experience to me. In our corporate jobs, ironically, money is the biggest reason why we don't leave those jobs, because we feel that we need to have that stable salary, the full-time job and security. And otherwise, we won't be able to pay our mortgage, look after our kids, and our quality of life, our standard of living will really suffer. On the other hand, then, when we quit that job, ironically, we sort of go to the other extreme, because certainly in my case, I started questioning, money isn't that important. It's not one of my core values. And I wanted to rather go for the freedom and flexibility and this incredibly interesting work and meeting people and so on. Now, again, the truth, of course, is somewhere in between those two extremes. And there are a number of reasons why money is important, even when you're going after more meaningful work and freedom and flexibility, which I keep going on about. So earning, enough money and earning consistent revenue in your business means that you're doing a good job. It means people value what you're doing. It means that you're making an impact. It also means that your business is going to be viable and sustainable, which means you can actually sustain this lifestyle and keep living as you want to, and continue reinvesting into the business, the profit, and growing and helping more people. And of course, fundamentally, money is a means to an end because it means you can travel, you can take time off, and you can buy all the things and the experiences that you do want to have. So money, is somewhere in between this is everything that's important in your life on the one hand to, money doesn't matter at all, and that's sort of the other extreme. So the truth, of course, is somewhere in between. So just very briefly, a few little thought starters on how to get the financials right in your business. And the first one is to start with your mindset. And because before you even get into the numbers, if you have beliefs such as you can't earn money doing what you love, having a full-time job is the only way to have a safe income, and creative work doesn't pay very well, it's very risky to run your own business and so on, then the likely story is that you will create that for yourself in reality. You're not going to be earning enough money because you don't believe it's possible to earn enough money. So your mindset, the money story you have, perhaps inherited from your parents, from childhood and so on, is really important to address. So that's your mindset. Number 2 is business model. And again, such a massive topic, but things like identifying the right clients, making sure they really see the value in your solution and they're able and willing to pay for it. thinking about the pricing, of course, charging enough in order to reach your income goals, and also thinking about how you're structuring your packages and so on. So going back to last week's topic of leveraging your time, perhaps via group programs and more kind of passive income streams. Number 3 is getting on top of your numbers. Now, if this is an area that you're just not very comfortable with, of course, do please get an accountant, speak to an expert. You want to be making sure that you're at least understanding how your business is running, your business expenses, your sales and your profit. Number 4 is tracking, because this is not something that you do just once and that's it, you leave the numbers. I know it can be scary to look at your numbers, it can be a bit disheartening at the beginning when you're not earning as much as you'd hoped. Bear in mind, results tend to take time to come in, so the work you're putting in now may take 3 months at least or so to show up in the numbers, or at least to show up in increased traffic to your site and increased leads and conversations as well as sales. So keep doing what you're doing and bear in mind that the results will come in a few months' time. So tracking, incredibly important. And then finally, I just wanted to mention a newer model, which is the profit first model. Now, I'm by no means an expert in this model, but it's from Mike Michalowicz, and there's a book called Profit First. So if it sounds interesting, then do check that out. The traditional accounting model is sales minus expenses will be your profit. But the danger there is that there's no profit left over, especially as you probably increase your expenses as you grow and you buy more sophisticated software and tools and more advertising and so on. So the new model is around paying yourself first, essentially. So putting aside money for taxes, but then really predetermining the profit that you want to make in your business, and then using the money that's left over to invest in perhaps some tools and systems and advertising and so on. So again, if that sounds interesting to you, do check that out. I think in the context of this freedom and flexibility, it's a really important consideration to make sure that you're getting the financial earning from the business that you need as well to live the lifestyle you want. So again, mindset, business model, numbers, tracking, and then considering profit first. Now, if you have no idea, you just don't feel very comfortable with this, again, in terms of accounting, I'd recommend you speak to an expert in that case. But I would love to chat to you about your business model, making sure you're identifying those clients who can really afford and want to pay for your services, getting your marketing strategy right, making sure that your packages and pricing make sense for your targets. So if you'd like to talk to me about that, you can book a call at onestepoutside.com/free consultation. That's onestepoutside.com/free consultation. And I'd love to get on the phone with you. We'll have a 30-minute chat, talk through your particular goals in your business, have a bit of a look at, these different elements of your business model that are really going to drive your results. And then we'll see how I can help you to move forwards as well. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.